straight tripping, bro.
For a killer, police are still looking for the person or persons who shot and killed a North Texas rapper on New Year's Day. That crime went down in the parking lot of a Dallas Gentlemen's Club on I-35 and Empire Central. In all, 5 people were hit by gunfire. A 25-year-old rap artist known as ZeeTheWizard died days later.
Nobody expected this situation to spiral the way it did. What started as whispers around a nightclub incident has now turned into a heartbreaking reality that left a whole community stunned. The case involving ZeeTheWizard just took a heavy turn, and the details coming out are hitting harder by the day. According to official reports, an arrest has now been made in connection with what happened to ZeeTheWizard, and the person taken into custody isn't a stranger at all. Investigators say it was actually someone from Z's own inner circle, a childhood friend, now facing serious charges tied to that night. The outcome is tragic no matter how you look at it, and people are still trying to wrap their heads around how things went this far. Authorities identified the individual as Damian Robertson, a 24-year-old who has now been formally charged in connection with Z's passing. Law enforcement units, including the U.S. Marshals Task Force, confirmed the arrest after days of mounting pressure and public concern. Even though officials described the incident as accidental, the charge itself carries major weight, which has only fueled more questions and emotional reactions.
Police have arrested a suspect in the shooting that killed local rapper ZeeTheWizard. It happened at an after-hours club called Pink House Dallas early New Year's Day. 5 people were rushed to a hospital with injuries, including ZeeTheWizard, who died 4 days later. Tonight, we learned U.S. Marshals just arrested 24-year-old Damian Robertson. He is charged with murder. Police have not said what led up to the shooting.
The situation traces back to New Year's Day, when emergency crews rushed to the parking lot of a Dallas nightclub after reports of gunfire breaking out. Multiple people were caught in the chaos, and Dallas Fire Rescue confirmed that 5 individuals were transported to nearby hospitals for treatment. Among them was Zachary Fields, also widely known as ZeeTheWizard, who was listed in critical condition from the start. Despite medical teams working around the clock, Z's condition never stabilized the way supporters had hoped. Days later, on January 5th, officials confirmed that he had passed on from his injuries, sending shockwaves through Dallas and beyond. The timing alone made the loss feel even heavier, as the year had barely begun and already claimed a rising voice from the scene. Investigators believe the situation unfolded in the parking lot shortly before emergency crews arrived. What exactly led up to that moment is still being pieced together, but police have stated clearly that the case remains active and under review. No final conclusions have been shared yet, and authorities are being careful with how much information they release publicly. People close to Zachary Fields say the headlines don't even begin to capture who he really was. To them, he wasn't just a rapper or an artist chasing a moment, he was someone deeply connected to his community. Friends describe him as genuine, generous, and always willing to look out for others, even when it didn't benefit him personally. One longtime friend, Tion Randolph, spoke about Z's character in a way that stuck with a lot of people. He described Z as someone whose heart was always in the right place, saying he would go out of his way to help anybody who needed it. According to those who knew him best, Z cared just as much about giving back as he did about his music. That's why this situation has been so difficult for many to process. The idea that a moment involving people who grew up together could end this way has left supporters angry, confused, and searching for answers. Online discussions have been filled with disbelief, with many people saying this never should have ended the way it did.
Right.
Unfortunately, there were some of those who did make it. ZeeTheWizard, he's a new Dallas artist, popping in the clubs in Houston, popping in the clubs throughout the state, throughout the nation. He was next. He was killed at a strip club, the grand opening of Pink House Dallas, right in front of Big Ace the Plug, who was in attendance. OG Percy, you heard of that news. What you make of it?
You said the real thing. They be popping in the what? He was popping in the what?
Strip club.
And he was popping around the world in the club, popping in where you say he popped all around. He was popping. You right, that's what they doing to him around the nation. They popping in the club. He was popping in the streets. They be popping they popping all around. That ain't nothing that just started, man. But first of all, let me do this a moment of silence for Zeke, man. Amen. That's all you get. A minute to pray and a second to die. I'm gonna talk about. Real Tune, shout out to Real Tune, man, for putting up on me, man. God has blessed me in another way for us to see another episode of this Tune Man in 2026. That's number one. And I want to take this one by starting by for the first 5.
As the investigation continues, law enforcement has made it clear that more updates could still come out. Until then, the focus remains on understanding exactly what happened and how a night meant for celebration turned into something so devastating. For now, Z's legacy lives on through the people he impacted, the music he created, and the community that refuses to forget him. Out of respect, no footage from that night is being shown here. Even the blurred versions floating around are too heavy for most people to watch, and honestly, the details alone are more than enough to understand how serious the situation became. Based on what's been pieced together, the moment unfolded fast and in complete chaos. There were 2 individuals involved in a heated confrontation, both reportedly armed, standing on opposite sides. ZeeTheWizard was positioned between them, not directly involved in the conflict itself, but stuck right in the middle of something spiraling out of control. As the argument escalated, a weapon went off. In that split second, Z was struck and immediately went down. Witnesses say everything happened so fast that there was no time to react, no warning, no chance for anyone to stop what was unfolding. From that moment on, the night took a devastating turn that no one could undo. People close to the situation believe Z likely didn't even have time to process what happened. There's a strong sense among those discussing the case that it was instant, with no prolonged suffering involved. While that doesn't change the outcome, it's something many supporters hold on to as they try to make sense of the loss. What's becoming clearer now is how the situation allegedly started and who may have played a role in that critical moment. Investigators are pointing toward Damian Robertson, described as someone close to Z, as the person whose actions directly led to the outcome. Even though officials say it wasn't intentional, the consequences are still severe and life-altering. According to information being reviewed, the discharge happened during a heated exchange and Z was never meant to be involved. Still, being caught in the middle proved fatal, and that reality is what has left so many people shaken. Accidental or not, the impact is the same, and the legal system doesn't overlook circumstances like this. Now, attention has shifted to Damian's background, and this is where things get even more complicated. Public court records show that his most recent case tied to this incident has not yet fully appeared in online systems. However, his past legal history is already raising serious red flags. Records indicate that Damian previously faced charges related to unlawful possession of a weapon as a convicted felon, along with possession of a controlled substance in a significant amount. Those cases didn't disappear quietly. They were resolved through deferred adjudication, which comes with strict conditions.
Can I get 5 minutes real quick, Tune, before I answer the question? The first 5 minutes, I'm going to use it on what Tune is talking about. We're going to call it a full tank of gas. I want all y'all. Let's go, God. My bad, y'all. My bad. I get chill. Full tank of gas. God gave me that word, F and E. Everybody got a full tank right now. You got a new year to live. God gave you a full tank of gas. I don't know why you putting things like this in my head, but I got to work by the spirit, even when the camera comes on. My bad. I had to ask for 5 minutes. It wasn't me, Tony, it was the spirit. My bad. He said full tank of gas. He said he gonna give you a full tank. Just remember, you only get 1 tank, y'all. You only get 1 full up. And when you get on E, that means it's over with. A lot of y'all, please quit running your gas out so fast in the street, you youngsters. Quit going so fast. Y'all have you youngsters all gas, no brakes. I'm seeing some of you youngsters cars run out of gas before you even get to the corner. I'm seeing some of you cars to crash out. Y'all riding with no seatbelts or crash, dummies. Crashing out, riding with no seatbelt, getting through the windshield. Coffins, the new cars. Full tank. If you got a full tank of gas, cuz be careful how you hit the gas.
In that earlier case, Damian entered a guilty plea and received 5 years of deferred probation, meaning he was allowed to avoid further penalties as long as he followed every rule laid out by the court. One of the biggest conditions was clear and non-negotiable. He was not allowed to be anywhere near weapons. That's what makes this situation especially serious. Being present at a nightclub with a weapon during a heated confrontation directly conflicts with the terms he was already under. Even before this latest charge, that alone would have been considered a major violation. Current booking records show Damian is now being held without bond. The reason isn't just the new charge, it's also tied to a probation hold placed by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. That hold means release isn't an option right now, regardless of what happens next in the court process. This changes everything. Whether people debate intent, reaction, or circumstance, the legal reality is that Damian should not have been in that position at all. Being on probation and carrying a weapon, puts him in an extremely vulnerable legal spot, and the system takes that very seriously. As investigators continue reviewing every angle, this detail is expected to play a major role in how the case moves forward. Self-defense arguments, accidental claims, and surrounding circumstances will all be weighed, but prior conditions don't just disappear. At the center of it all is a life that should still be here. A moment of chaos, combined with choices that never should have been made, ended something that can't be repaired. And as more information continues to surface, the focus remains on accountability, responsibility, and how things went so wrong so fast. At this point, it honestly doesn't even matter who started the confrontation that night. Even if the argument wasn't his fault, even if he believed he was protecting himself, the reality doesn't change. A life was ended, and tragically, it was the life of someone he grew up with, someone he called family. Whether the courts decide this situation involves self-defense or not, there's one detail that can't be ignored. Damian Robertson was never supposed to be in possession of a weapon in the first place. That condition alone puts him in serious trouble, regardless of how everything unfolded in those final moments. Because of that violation, his probation status has already been affected. Under Texas law, breaking those conditions comes with heavy consequences, and in this case, it likely means serving out the remainder of his sentence inside the Texas prison system. And that's not something anyone takes lightly. Texas is known for having one of the largest and toughest correctional systems in the country. Alongside states like California and Florida, it's often mentioned when people talk about places where time behind bars is anything but easy. There's no soft landing there, no shortcuts, no quick exits once you're locked into that system. And on top of the probation violation, there's still the main charge hanging over everything. Even if the charge is later adjusted or reduced, it would still come with serious time.
Just know sometimes you can park your car, you ain't gotta go everywhere the streets go. You ain't gotta go everywhere the murder go. You ain't gotta go to all the strip clubs. Watch for how you spend your gas, cause just remember you get one full tank of gas. When that gas is up, shit. Look at me, my gas tank been up. It's not on full right now, cause of my age. But you know, it's almost, you know, I see the light coming. I used to be at a full tank, and I was riding reckless. I'm surprised I didn't crash out then in life. I'm surprised I ain't in the box with the rest of them. Y'all gotta pay attention, youngsters. You only get one full tank of gas. When God take that tank out, shit. You gonna be either going to the pound, or you going to the wrecking yard. One of the two. If you got a full tank of gas, be careful how you drive. If you got a full tank of gas, be careful how you spend your gas. See me, I'm stingy with gas. That means life. That means I'm not gonna go everywhere somebody want me to go because I got a full tank of gas. That's gonna be the subject for the day on Tune. Full tank of gas. Get the Z. R.I.P. Z, man, wizard. And these type of things, you gotta use your wizardry. Wizards use their wizardry. One thing I'm gonna tell you, man,
No matter how people slice it, this situation almost guarantees incarceration of some kind, and that reality is setting in fast. What makes this case hit even harder is the personal connection at the center of it all. This wasn't a random altercation between strangers. This was someone Z had known for most of his life, someone who shared memories far deeper than music or nightlife. Posts that surfaced online show just how close that bond really was. In one emotional message, Damian reflected on knowing ZeeTheWizard for more than 2 decades. He talked about walking to school together as kids, growing up side by side, and building a brotherhood that went far beyond business or fame. He described Z as someone who impacted people everywhere, not just locally. Someone who pushed others to be better, to chase their goals, and to believe in themselves. According to that message, Z constantly encouraged him to focus, to rap, to stay driven, and to think about the bigger picture. The message also spoke about gratitude. Gratitude for advice, sacrifices, and guidance that Z gave not just to him, but to everyone around them. He described Z as genuine, loving, and always willing to show support to anyone he crossed paths with. It's clear from those words that this loss isn't just public, it's deeply personal. The pain behind that message doesn't read like damage control or excuses. It reads like someone completely broken, struggling to process a reality they never imagined facing. And that's where things get complicated emotionally. Because while the legal system focuses on accountability and consequences, grief doesn't follow rules or timelines. Someone can be responsible for an outcome and still be shattered by it at the same time. There's a weight that comes with knowing a single moment changed everything. A friendship, a future, and multiple families were affected in an instant. That's not something anyone just gets over, no matter what happens in court. It's obvious Damian wanted to say something, wanted to express what he was feeling, even if words couldn't fix anything. Sometimes people speak not to defend themselves, but because staying silent hurts even more. At the center of all this is a loss that didn't need to happen. A chain of choices, pressure, and chaos led to an ending that no one can rewind. As the case continues to move forward, emotions remain high, answers are still incomplete, and the impact continues to ripple through everyone involved. One life is gone, another is forever changed, and the consequences are only just beginning. When you really sit back and think about it, the weight of this situation is unreal. This wasn't just someone he knew casually or crossed paths with once or twice. They walked to school together as kids, starting back in first grade. That's a bond most people never experience outside of family. Think about how rare that is. Many people don't even stay in touch with classmates from middle school or high school, let alone someone they've known since they were 6 years old. Growing up side by side from that age creates a connection that runs deep, built on shared memories, shared struggles, and real trust. Now imagine carrying the knowledge that a single moment changed everything, knowing that someone you grew up with, someone whose family you likely know personally, is no longer here because of an accident tied to your actions. That's not something that fades with time, that stays with you forever. Some people try to simplify it by saying things like, maybe Z shouldn't have had him around, or maybe he shouldn't have brought certain people into certain environments. Others suggest Z was trying to put his friend on, trying to help him get back on his feet and moving in a better direction. But pointing fingers after the fact doesn't fix anything. There's no need to pile blame on someone who is already living with a level of regret most people can't even imagine. According to investigators, the situation involved an exchange that spiraled out of control. When moments like that happen, chaos takes over, and innocent people can end up caught in the middle. That's exactly what makes this so heartbreaking. In situations involving intense confrontation, outcomes are unpredictable. You don't get to pause time, rewind decisions, or calculate how things will land. Everything moves too fast, and sometimes the wrong person is affected in the worst way possible. People online love to say things like, he should have had security, as if that guarantees safety. But history has shown again and again that even security doesn't always prevent tragedy. There have been high-profile cases, including the Night King Von Past, where security was present and things still went terribly wrong. The truth is, no one can fully predict how a confrontation will end. People assume situations will go their way until reality proves otherwise. Just like on the road, you can be doing everything right and still get hit by something you never saw coming. You can't always react fast enough. You can't always avoid impact. Sometimes all you can do is brace for what's about to happen, and in moments of panic, decisions are made in fractions of a second. Now, the aftermath is something no one prepares you for. Living with the knowledge that a friend is gone, knowing your actions played a role, and then facing confinement on top of that. It's a mental and emotional weight that's crushing. There's no need for anyone to tear him down further. He's already at rock bottom. He's isolated, locked away, and forced to replay that moment over and over in his mind. And if this goes to trial, he'll have to relive it publicly through evidence, images, and testimony that reopen the wound again and again. This isn't entertainment. This is a real-life situation with lasting consequences for multiple families. And sadly, it's not the only case where a single moment of chaos reshaped multiple lives forever. It's a reminder of how fast things can change. One night, one decision, one uncontrollable moment, and everything after that is never the same again. Situations like this sadly aren't rare, even though they should be. Over the years, there have been countless cases where people ended up hurting someone close to them during heated moments, chaotic confrontations, or careless handling of weapons. Sometimes it happens during intense situations, sometimes during reckless behavior, and sometimes just from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what makes this case so heavy. It didn't come from a long-planned act or some calculated move. It came from chaos, pressure, and decisions made in seconds. And once that line is crossed, there's no rewind button, no way to undo what already happened. Right now, no one knows exactly how this case will fully play out in court. But based on what's already known, the legal outlook isn't looking good. This isn't a first-time situation involving weapons, and prior convictions matter a lot when it comes to sentencing. Because of that history, incarceration is almost unavoidable at this point. Even without considering the main charge, the probation violation alone carries serious consequences. Once you factor in everything together, the system doesn't offer much room for leniency. There's also the possibility that higher authorities could take interest in this case. When prior convictions, weapons, and controlled substances intersect, it can trigger deeper legal scrutiny. If that happens, the penalties become even more severe, with mandatory minimums that leave little flexibility. That's how fast things can spiral. One moment changes everything, and suddenly multiple systems, state and possibly federal, are involved. Sentences can stack, time adds up, and futures disappear quicker than most people realize. No matter how this ends legally, the damage is already done. A life was lost. Families are grieving, and another life is permanently altered by one irreversible moment. There are no winners here, only consequences that stretch far beyond one night. This case serves as a harsh reminder of how fragile everything really is. One choice, one reaction, one uncontrolled moment can change dozens of lives forever. That's not something anyone should take lightly. As more updates come out, the truth will continue to unfold, and the full impact will become clearer. Until then, all anyone can do is watch, reflect, and hopefully learn from situations like this before they repeat themselves again. If you made it this far, make sure you like this video, share it with others who follow real-time celebrity situations, and subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. Your support really helps keep these conversations going. Drop your thoughts respectfully in the comments. How do you see this situation, and what lessons do you think people should take from it? And don't go anywhere just yet. There's another video on your screen right now, diving into more celebrity drama and unfolding stories you won't want to miss. Click that next video, and I'll see you over there on the next one.